अस्सलाम वालेकुम व्यूअर्स, आज हम एक नई वीडियो के साथ आपके साथ शामिल हुए हैं और आज के हमारे न्यू वीडियो का टॉपिक है कैपेसिटर। A capacitor is a device that can be stored a charge. It consists of two containers placed near each other separation by the vacuum, air and any other insulator. Now an electric dielectrides, usually the containers are in the form of parallel plates and the capacitor is now a parallel plate capacitor. When the capacitor the plates as such as capacitor is connected by the battery of low voltage V in the diagram 12.24. It is essentially a potential difference of the volt between the two plates, and the battery plate are the charge plus Q to the plate connected with its positive thermal and charge minus Q on the other plates and connected in negative thermal. Let Q to be magnetic of the charge on the ether of the plates. Q is directly proportional to V, and Q is equal to CV, and C is equal to Q over the potential constant. C is called capacity of capacitor. As we shall see later, it depends upon the geometry of plates of the medium between them. It is a capacitor of capacitors can be defined as the amount of charge on the plates necessary to raise the potential of the plates by 1 volt and with respect to each other. The SI unit of receptor is coulomb per watt, which because of its frequency use the commonly called Faraday after the thesis of English scientist Faraday. The capacitor of a capacitor is 1. The Faraday is the charge of 1 coulomb give to 1 plate of parallel plates. Capacitor produce the potential difference of 1 volt between them. The capacitor of parallel plates. Consider a parallel plate capacitor consisting of the two plates, each of area A is separated by the distance D as shown in figure 12.24. The distance D is small so that the electric field E is between the plate in the uniform or coefficient almost internally in the region between the plates, less essentially medium between the plates in the air and vacuum. Then the container as C is equal to AC CVC over Q over V, where Q is the charge on the capacitor and V is the potential difference between the plates. Magnetic field E is the electric field of the reflective which distance where D by the equation of 12.18. So E is equal to V over D, whereas Q is the charge on the ether plates of the area A at the surface density of the charge on the plates is epsilon naught. Q1 is equal to Q over already show in the sense of 12.8 where electric intensity between two plates charge on give E is equal to Q naught over epsilon naught. Subscribe the value of epsilon Q where we have VD is equal to Q over A epsilon naught and V is equal to V naught over epsilon A. If it is essentially the material charge called dielectric of reflective permittive introduction between the two plates of that capacitors and capacitor is inhaled by the factors R and capacitor commonly have the some dielectric medium near by the R naught is also called the dielectric constant. Following the receptors of the dielectride between them, consider an C is equal to Q over V, and since V is equal to increase where Q remains are constant, the value of C increase. C medium is equal to A epsilon naught epsilon R over D. तो इसी के साथ हमें दीजिए इजाज़त। इंशाअल्लाह मिलेंगे कल अगली वीडियो में। अल्लाह निगहबान। अल्लाह हाफिज़।